Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. This video it's by popular demand. Many of you have been asking me, is it possible for you to calibrate with your own two eyes like you always do, your custom calibration that I do? And when I say custom calibration, I'm talking about my own two eyes. I understand there's equipment, but the equipment has certain standards, certain codes. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but the problem is this so-called standard that they're using to calibrate and measure everything doesn't necessarily means it will look great on every and each content, okay? Your eyes are the best receivers. Right now, I can see exactly the way everything should be, the way the color should be set up, the way the gamma should be set up, the way the contrast should be set up. I can see all of that stuff with my own two eyes, and that's the one thing that you can't do with professional equipment. Your eyes know exactly how much of that contrast you need, how much of that sharpness you need. These softwares, they just go by certain standard, and they all calibrate based on that standard. It should be here, it should be here, it should be here. But that standard doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be looking good on every content. And that's why I use my own custom calibrations. All right, let's get on it. Let's do this. I'm saying this for those of you who are new to my channel, who doesn't know me. I have over close to 2,000 videos, man. I've been custom calibrating now for a long time, and I think my eyes have been trained so far to detect if something gets off balance. But keep in mind, just because I calibrated a certain way doesn't mean you will enjoy that, doesn't mean you're going to like that. I'm not saying that this is the best way to do it. I'm simply saying this is the way I do it, and you guys can try it out. If you don't like it, don't use it. Remember, all these calibrations that I give to you guys, you don't have to use them. You can try them if you like. If you don't like it, go back to your default one that you originally have. But I still believe by this theory. This is my theory. Might as well be called Mr. 4K Upscaler theory. And this theory is that your eyes are the best calibrators. Honestly, that's why you have the eyes. Nobody can see it better than you. I just said it. Nobody can see it better than you. And nobody's going to register that color better than your brain and your eyes. So, all right, enough of me explaining this. I'm doing this for the new people, for the newcomers, for those of you who don't know me. For those of you who've been following me, you can skip to the first minute and a half and get right on to the calibration. All right, so let's get right on the calibration without any delay. Let's do this. Let's go to my settings. I personally like to use the bright mode. But there's a couple of things I'm going to do here that's going to be changed. Here's the thing, the OLED light, sometimes, you could bring it down if you choose to, which sometimes it's not a bad idea to bring it down. But remember, you're going to be losing that peak brightness of the HDR. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good idea. You can keep it at 80. You can keep the OLED light at the 80. It doesn't have to be at the 100. You can keep it at the 80. That's fine. Contrast, I would keep it at 100 because remember, this television doesn't have the best peak brightness, so you can leave it at 100. The only reason I say keep the OLED light at the 80 because you don't want to burn those lights, and you don't want to have that burning effect. Because this is OLED, it's a very expensive panel to be made. They're not cheap, so you want to make sure you take care of your TV. You want to make sure you're like plasma. You want to make sure this TV lasts you a long time. You don't want to damage it, so I would say keep it at the 80. All right, let's move on. Contrast, I said keep it at 100. This, I never mess with this. Couple of reasons. Number one, it's OLED. This OLED already has the deepest black levels possible. So there's no reason for you to crush your deep dark blacks. You just keep this alone. If this wasn't an OLED TV, then yeah, you can mess around with it. But since this is the OLED, you don't want to ever mess around with this. Keep it at the middle, 50, balance. I personally prefer sharpness to 0. Can you go to the 20? Yes, you can. But the problem with me, if you go to the 20, here's what happens. You get this outline. This outline. For some, that's cool. You know, for me personally, I don't like it that much. But for this case, we'll keep it at, how about this? 10, it's reasonable. 10, it's not too much. It's just reasonable. So we'll keep it at 10 to give a little bit more of that pop. This is not that bad. 10, it's okay. If you go above 20, that's a problem. But 10, it's okay. You're still not outlining it badly. I still prefer 0, but we'll keep it here 10. Remember, we're calibrating this specific game. This doesn't apply for everything. This only applies now for this game. So make sure you write down the notes when you are watching this video, okay? Color. It's at 60, but I feel this game could go a little bit lower, down to the 55. Why? Sometimes I'm not a huge fan of overbleeding the colors, you know. It's unnatural. You don't want to do that. You don't want everybody to look like a red lobster, okay? Or like they came out of the tanning salon. Tint, I never mess with the tint. And why would you? Color temperature, I always keep it at warm 4. And now you're going to say, well, why at the warm 4? Because if I go here, if I go to the cool, then everything becomes more bluish. Look, if I go to the cold, everything becomes more bluish. And I don't like that bluish color. I don't like that bluish temperature. This is a nice balance. But you can say, oh, but why don't you leave it at the middle? Even at the middle, you still, hold on, you still have that. You see, this is too yellow. You see, you don't want to go too warm, nor do you want to go too cold. You want to make sure you go right here at the warm 4. Right here, warm 4. This is a good balance between cold and warm, between blue and yellow. This is a great balance. You want to be at the whole idea of calibration sometimes is to balance the picture quality. So keep it at the warm 4. Because that's what I do. Keep that at the warm 4. All right. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. Hopefully you're writing everything down. OLED light, we said it's 80, so we'll go back. Now we're going to go to the advanced. We're going to go to the advanced control. Okay, make sure you write this down, all right? Pause the video and write this down. 80 OLED, contrast 100, brightness 50, sharpness 10, color 55. Don't mess with the tint. Tint is 0. Color temperature, very important. W4. Warm 4. Sounds like a tax return, doesn't it? W4. And now we go to the advanced controls. Now these are the filters. Here's the deal with the filters. The reason you cannot touch gamma because you're running an OLED HDR and the deep black levels are already set to the deepest black possible level. Okay, so you cannot mess with that. Super resolution, I would leave it off because I already have a sharpness to 10, so you don't want to have this turned on. When you turn this on, everything becomes more outlined and your picture looks weird. So you don't want to mess with that. Leave that. This is just the sharpness outlining. It's not like resolution and like that. They just call it that, but it's the sharpness outlining. Color gamut, always keep it at the wide. Dynamic color, remember why I lowered the color from 60 to 55? Because I already have dynamic color to medium. And that's why I left it at 55. See what I'm doing? I'm balancing things out. Dynamic contrast, always leave that at off. I don't mess with that. So hopefully you guys write these settings down. Now let's try. And let's play this game a little bit. Let me adjust my low light. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, everything looks more dynamic. Everything looks more detailed. Also keep in mind, what you are seeing here right now, it looks totally different in person. I'm not doing this video trying to convince you to show it to you, oh look at this, because there's no way you can see HDR through a video. There's no way you can see all of this detail through a camera. I'm doing this video to show you what type of calibrations to use. And also keep in mind, this only works if you have OLED TV. This model, C6 or even B6 will do it. Either of the LG OLED series will do it. They're pretty much similar customizations. So make sure you have an LG OLED TV. If you have an LG OLED TV and you have PlayStation 4 Pro with this game, these are the custom calibrations I want you to use. And I want you to write them down, and I want you to use them and try them out. How are you going to know if you like something if you don't try it? So go out there and try it. But don't expect this video to be this like a holy grail of proof, a smoking gun. No, it's impossible. There's no cameras out there that can depict what I am seeing. You have to try this out. That's why I'm giving you these calibrations. So I just want you to keep that in check. I wish that there was a way for me to show you exactly what I'm seeing here, but there isn't. Just trust me. Look at that. Look at that light, the way it's moving. Look at that. The way the moon just went by and the light just disappeared. Hands down, to me personally, Decima engine, it's one of the best engines that I have seen. You see like the light showing up right here. This is a perfect example. So the sharpness 10 seems to be a perfect balance. Normally I would go with 0, but in this case, for this game, sharpness 10 seems to be a decent amount, a good decent amount of sharpness. It's not too much, but at the same time it's not too low, so it's just like the right balance. It's all about hitting that balance, guys. It's all about that equilibrium. You know, whether you're adjusting sharpness, color, brightness, contrast, it's that equilibrium that you want. And that's what you want to do. And it looks gorgeous, man. This looks beautiful. Honestly, wait till you guys try these calibration settings. Your jaws will be dropped. If you have an OLED, obviously remember, this will only work with the OLED. If you want to use Samsung KS8000, you need to go to my older videos where I did calibrations for KS8000. And I have truckload of calibrations for KS8000. Just look at that color. Sunrise. Look at those mountains. And yes, in case you guys want to know, I still stand by it. I still stand by this statement that I made a long time ago in February. Yes, Uncharted looks great. It's a great engine. It's a great game. Great graphics. But compared to Decima engine, I'm sorry. It's just... I can spend 2 hours just talking about Decima engines and why Decima engine is the future. And this is why Hideo Kojima is so excited about it. And this is why many other developers are getting excited more about the Decima engine than the Unreal Engine 4 or Crytek or the new Crytek engine. Decima is the most natural animated engine that I have seen. Everything comes to life. And I do mean everything. Let's go over here a little bit. Let's run around. Let's look at the sunrise here. Again, what you're seeing here, it's nothing compared to what I'm seeing, guys. I can't stress that enough. That to truly appreciate Horizon Zero Dawn and what I'm doing here, you will have to own an OLED TV, PlayStation 4 Pro, a proper HDMI cable, have your HDMI, HDR, deep color output on your LG OLED, and of course you will need that OLED LG TV. If you have these components just like I do, and you implement these calibrations step by step, if you implement them step by step, everything that I just did here, I guarantee you, you're gonna be enjoying yourself playing this game. And what I mean by that is like you're really gonna be having a great time experiencing. I guess the word enjoying, it's not proper word to use. I would say experiencing this game the way it should be experienced.
You're alert.
All right, let's run here. Let's get out of here. Run to the mountains. It's been a while since I played this game. Can I go higher? All right, this will do it. Maybe not. Sometimes the best option is to run. Right? There we go. And now here we get a nice view of the sunrise. There it is. Let me adjust my low light a little bit. There. Hopefully that's better. And also keep in mind, you get to see this game from any angle. Doesn't matter which angle you're looking at it. And the reason why OLED's so good, because OLED will give you that detail with a 4K and HDR and Dolby Vision. It's going to give you that detail that you weren't able to see with these bright LED backlit lights. You weren't able to see that. You're going to see that here because each individual each individual organic LED, it's emitting by itself. And this is the reason why you get to see all of this detail. What is that in the distance? I just noticed there's something down there in the distance. It's like a big giraffe dinosaur, mechanical dinosaur. Let's go a little bit higher. By the way, I think this game will be a game of the year easily. If this is not a game of the year this year, then something's wrong with these awards. This definitely needs to be a game of the year. And it's definitely a technical, graphical breakthrough for consoles. I mean, this is definitely one of the best looking console games so far I have seen. And it's an open world game. You know, that's something to consider as well. If you buy a PlayStation 4 Pro, this is the first game you should buy, Horizon Zero Dawn. There's no question about that. Two games you should get, Horizon Zero Dawn and Uncharted 4, obviously. But this is the first one you should get. That should be your first copy. If you never had PlayStation 4 and you're thinking about buying PlayStation 4 Pro, this is the first exclusive you should experience. It's Horizon Zero Dawn. And if you have OLED TV, ugh, you're gonna be like. And here's another great thing about this. I can turn the 3D on. And I can watch this in the 3D. That's another benefit. I can put my 3D glasses and watch this. And it looks fantastic, man. However, you can adjust the depth of vision. How much do you want stuff to pop out and all that? But I mean, you cannot see it obviously, but I can see it. You have to put these glasses, these 3D passive glasses on. And this is another bonus that this TV does. Not only does it give you the OLED, not only does it give you Dolby Vision, HDR, but it also gives you a 3D, and also you can use a 3D with anything and have a 3D effect, and 3D really works well. So this is why I give this TV such accolades for the money, that you're going to be paying on this TV. This is a good investment. Instead of you buying some QLED or peak brightness, everybody's so caught up with the peak brightness. Really? Let me ask you this. Do all of you live on big mansions, like big giant arenas? Do all of you live in the big giant arenas or big giant warehouses with the big bright lights all over the place, and you got to have that peak brightness? Or do you live in small houses, small little condos, apartments? Which one is it? We all know which one is it. Let's not bullshit ourselves. So please stop with this whole peak brightness nits bullshit. OLED will get there. OLED will get, by 2019, they will get to the peak brightness. They're already there. They're already hitting 600, 700. By 2019, they're going to hit 1,000, and it's game over. And all of you peak brightness fanboys can just shove it, and you will have no choice, and the only choice you will have is the OLED. That's just my opinion. All right, so hopefully you guys like this. Let me turn this off, the 3D effect. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Make sure you use these calibrations. I do these calibrations for you. This was done by request, so go ahead, use these calibrations, pause the video, write them down. See you in the next one. Have a good one. Take care.